Hey, what's up everybody? It's your girl Slim, and welcome to the YouTube channel Deep Dish and Dairy, the show where we talk about sports, not food. Today, we will be taking a look at the oldest rivalry in NFL history, the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. Whether your fighting call is Bear Down or Go Pack Go, twice a year, Bears and Packers fans gather to witness historic franchises go to battle. And let's be real, we hate each other, but the love of the game is what brings us together. So with the Packers figuring out what they have at QB with Jordan Love, and with the Bears fully backing Justin Fields as their new leader, a new era in the NFC North will soon begin. With that in mind, let's take a step back in time and look at the top 5 games from both teams of this long-standing rivalry. Starting with the Chicago Bears' top 5 games against the Packers. Bear down. Starting off with number 5. The McMahon Body Slam. Unfortunately for this list, I have to begin with a game that is forever etched in the memory of Bears fans as the cheap shot seen round the world, or at least around the tri-state area. On November 23rd, 1986, the Packers traveled to Soldier Field for a Week 12 matchup against the Super Bowl reigning Chicago Bears. The Bears had already beaten the Packers earlier in the year during a Week 3 meeting in Lambeau on Monday Night Football that saw the Bears win 25-12. Going into Week 12, the Bears were 9-2 and were looking to make another solid playoff run. The Packers, however, were 2-9 and were one of the worst teams in the then NFC Central Division. What should have been a routine regular season game took a devastating turn when Packers defender Charles Martin decided this low-scoring game needed a bit more excitement. During the game, McMahon threw an errant pass that was picked off by a Green Bay defender. As McMahon began to make his way toward the bench after the interception, Martin, for no respectable reason, grabbed McMahon and slammed him into the turf, injuring his shoulder. Mind you, this was old school turf, which might as well have been concrete covered with a fresh coat of green paint. The slam came well after the interception was caught. And it was also noted that Martin entered the stadium with a towel that had the number of various Bears players on it. A hit list, if you will. McMahon and Walter Payton were among the players whose numbers were on that towel. The incident saw Martin ejected and suspended for 2 games, while McMahon was lost for the season due to a torn rotator cuff. A loss felt heavily as the Bears reached the playoffs, but were immediately one and done by the then Washington Redskins. This injury effectively ended the Bears' chance at another Super Bowl run and ignited a fiery disdain of the Packers from Bears fans across the entire Chicagoland area. Number 4. Make way for the fridge. The 1985 Chicago Bears are a staple in the Bears franchise. They were the perfect team at the perfect time for a city like Chicago. It hosted a colorful cast of characters, including the punky QB, arguably the best running back in NFL history, and a defense that lived up to the moniker Monsters of the Midway. But one huge, and I do mean huge, addition to the team was so entertaining he had his own cheerleading section. William Perry was drafted by the Chicago Bears in 1985 and was immediately a fan favorite his rookie year. Having earned the nickname the Refrigerator in college due to his massive size, the nickname followed him into the NFL. Bears head coach Mike Ditka used Perry in a number of ways on the field, despite Perry being drafted as a defensive lineman. Sometimes Perry would line up as a fullback on offense to help with blocking on 3rd and 4th downs. Perry's breakout game came in Week 7 against the Pack on Monday Night Football at Soldier Field. With the Bears and Packers tied at 7 in the second quarter, Perry lined up at the goal line and rushed the ball into the end zone for a score. Imagine a 325-pound boulder barreling down at you right at the line of scrimmage. Yikes! Perry also blocked at the goal line to help Walter Payton rush for 2 touchdowns of his own, leading the Bears to a 23-7 victory over the Packers, giving a whole new meaning to the phrase, "Is your refrigerator running?" Number 3. Happy Thanksgiving, Brett. The Chicago Bears in 2015 were not on the right track in the early part of the season. The team was coming off of a 5-11 record the year prior and were looking to get better the following season. The team ended up losing their first 3 games, but bounced back the following 8 weeks with a 5-3 record. This included a Thursday night football game on Thanksgiving against the Packers at Lambeau Field. Eesh, a lot of night games on this list. Anywho, the Bears walked into Lambeau Field at 5-6, looking to improve to an even 500 record. The Packers were sitting pretty at 7-4, and were looking to make a decent run at the playoffs. Spoiler alert, they failed. But this wasn't just any typical Thanksgiving game. Oh no. This night was particularly special because it was Brett Favre's jersey retirement night. a night meant to honor the former Packers quarterback and raise his jersey up with all the other Packer legends who stepped foot on the Lambeau Field. And the Bears ruined that special night for everyone. Yep, on Thursday Night Football on Thanksgiving, in front of a sold-out stadium, in front of Bart Starr, the Chicago Bears came out with a victory over the Green Bay Packers, winning 17-13. Definitely a core memory in my mind. I still remember the Bears' defensive stand at the goal line. A miss on 4th and goal, and that was all she wrote. A perfect ending to the Thanksgiving holiday. The Bears would go on to lose the next 3 games and finish the season at 6-11, but spoiling Favre's jersey retirement as well as every Packers fan's Thanksgiving that year almost made it all worth it. Almost. Number 2, could I interest you in a freshly laid goose egg? The 2006 Bears were an exciting bunch to watch. For the most part, the Bears' biggest feature of 2006 was the defense, a defense that by sheer will manifested one of the best sound bites from a coach in an after-game press conference ever.
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Bears legends like Lance Briggs, Brian Urlacher, and Charles Peanut Tillman were all important pieces to this Bears team, including arguably the best return man in NFL history, Devin Hester, who was a rookie during the 2006 season. The Bears opened the season in Lambeau Field looking to continue the success they saw in 2005, which saw them finishing the season 11-5 and making the playoffs, but eventually falling to the Carolina Panthers in the divisional round. Well, whatever the Bears did in that 05 season, it carried over into the 06 season pretty smoothly. The Bears pitched a shutout against the Packers, winning 26-0 in a game that saw 1 offensive touchdown, 4 Robbie Gould field goals, and a welcome to the NFL 84-yard punt return from the legend himself, Devin Hester. This game began what would be a 7-game win streak, and the Bears finished the season 13-3 and secured the number 1 seed in the NFC. The Bears did advance all the way to the Super Bowl, but were pulled over along the road to victory unceremoniously by some sheriff named Peyton Manning. Despite how it all ended, the Bears beating the Packers in a shutout on opening day in enemy territory is truly a great feeling. Oh, and did I mention it was the first shutout of Brett Favre's career? Classic. Before getting into the number 1 Bears win over the Packers, I do want to take a moment for one honorable mention on the list. In 2018, the Bears were 1 game away from winning the NFC North Division title. The only thing standing in their way was the Cheeseheads. But 2018 saw a Bears team that was determined to make the playoffs, and beating the Packers to get there would make the victory that much sweeter. The Bears did beat the Packers 24-17 and were playoff bound for the first time in 8 seasons. And then nothing else happened after that. Literally nothing else. The Rams and Patriots went on to have the most boring Super Bowl ever televised, and that was that. Nope, nothing else. Okay, on to number 1. Number 1, Merry Christmas indeed. Nothing says Christmas like football. In 2005, the Bears were gifted a Christmas Day game for the first time in franchise history against the Packers, and it was a gift very well received. The Bears struggled early in the season, having a 1-3 record going into Week 5, but they gained momentum and went on a 7-game winning streak between Week 6 and Week 13. At this point in the season, the Bears were 10-4 and were looking to beat the Packers to make it to the playoffs. And on Christmas Day, they did just that. The Bears defense had Favre looking absolutely pedestrian out there, throwing 4 interceptions, one of which was returned to the house by Lance Briggs. Rex Grossman kept the game together, making his first start coming back off a broken ankle injury. The game was sealed with an interception from Favre, and the Bears won 24-17 and went on to earn a first-round bye in the playoffs. Even though the 2005 season didn't end with the Chicago Bears winning a Super Bowl, there was nothing more satisfying than beating your division rival on a major holiday like Christmas. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And so there we have it, the top 5 Bears wins against the Packers. Which Bears games would you have put on this list instead? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and tune in next time on Deep Dish and Dairy.